This is the reading work and leisure on page 232. I have my pens out, ready to annotate. Alright, let's go over it. It says here, people often complain that they work too hard. They complain that they don't have enough time for leisure. Leisure is what you do when you are not working, studying, or looking after your home and family. For example, cooking and cleaning. It is what you do when you relax and enjoy yourself. Most people have leisure time at the end of the workday or school day or on weekends. So this paragraph is defining the word leisure. It explains what leisure is. The amount of time we have for leisure has changed throughout history. Okay, so it's going to give us maybe the difference between the past and now. In the past, most people worked on the land, so their work depended on the weather and the season. For example, in Western countries, excuse me, Europe and North America, people did most of the work during the late spring, summer, and early fall. They did not do as much work in the winter. So work depended on land and weather. See? Weather. Worked on the land. Okay. The amount of time that people have for leisure changes when their work changes. In the late 18th century and early 19th century, industrialization transformed many Western countries. Thousands of people left their farms and small villages. They went to work in factories in towns and cities. The work in factory was very hard, and both the work day and the work week became longer. Many people worked for 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. They only took off one day from work, Sunday. Okay, so 18th century, 16 hours a day at 6 days a week. This was in the past. In the middle of the 19th century, factory work began to change in two ways. First, the machines in the factory became faster and more efficient, so that workers did not need to work as many hours. They had more free time. Second, the factories began to pay the workers more money. As a result, workers had more money to spend. Okay, so changes. Number 1, faster machines. Number 2, higher salary. With more time and money, workers had more opportunity for leisure activities. People who worked in or near cities in the second half of the 19th century had many new choices about how to spend their time and money. Western countries were changing rapidly. Transportation was continuing to improve so people could get around more easily. Okay, so not only did people have more time, they had better transportation. Streetcars could take people in the city for entertainment. In the cities, there were new public parks and gardens. So, okay, transportation got better. So, okay, it's more time for leisure. Transportation got easier, so people were able to travel. There were new public parks, new places to visit. Workers could go out with their families to the city for games, picnics, and concerts. The first movies and professional baseball games appeared at this time. So new activities, you can watch a game and you can go see a movie. There were also trains so people could get away from the city and spend all day in the country or at the beach. So again, transportation. So these 4 things made leisure better at that time. As people moved from the farms to the city to work in factories, at first the number of hours people work went up. However, as the country's economy develops, average working hours start to decrease. As a result, by the middle of the 20th century, the 8-hour workday and the 5-hour work week became typical in most Western countries. Okay, so in the 18th century? 19th century? It says when people started working in the factories, it was 16 hours a day for 6 hours a week. Then 20th century, 5-day work week. 35 hours. In many parts of the world, however, people continue to work much longer hours. In many Asian and Latin American countries, many people work more than 45 hours per week. They also get less time off from work. Workers in many Western European countries get more than 30 days off a year. In contrast, North American, South American, and Asian workers have fewer days off. In general, the pattern around the world has been similar. Both work hours per week and number of hours worked per year have decreased in the last 50 years. However, there is still significant variation in the number of hours across different regions of the world. So in general, it says we work less, or we work fewer hours than in the past. So that's the main idea here. So go through and make sure that you take notes on the reading.